G'day, another episode of kind of after hours, kind of shop update. We're going to start a couple of new segments where we go through a couple of technical stuff, regards to say suspension, braking, mechanical, ECUs, all that sort of stuff. So this is part one of the suspension stuff. And the other thing we're doing differently is we are going to be introducing you to my ringtone. So we'll introduce our fellow colleagues that work at Garage 5, and you guys can sort of see who you're dealing with or who's on the other side of the telephone every time you call us up. So first of all, we've got Ayven. He's our parts guru. So he's behind the phone. When you ring up, you get to talk to him. You get to talk to him on Facebook. Get to talk to him on Instagram, so he can't really run away. So any sort of questions and stuff, even after this video, if you've got technical questions, please harass him. I'm sure he'll be very helpful and be more than happy to answer all your questions. So we'll start with unboxing these awesome SHOCKWORKS shock absorbers.
Hey guys, so I'm Ayven. I do the parts here at Garage 5. Today we've got some SHOCKWORKS coilovers here, so we're going to be unboxing some of those, talking about how to put them in your car and how to set them up correctly. I've just recently put some different branded coilovers in my track car, which you saw in the previous video. So Benny's just asked for a hand putting these in his coupe, make it go way faster than my car, and I'll be very disappointed, but it's what it's about, so let's get into some go fast bits, eh? Sweet as. So this lovely packaged SHOCKWORKS box, we have 2 rows of coilovers. There you go, that'll be the rear. You can tell the rear is shorter than the fronts. They've got a nicely engineered extended top hat at the front that gives you more travel in the shock. It is a 2-piece shock absorber, so you can see there is a separate bottom piece here. So you can adjust the shock length separately from the ride height up here. So that's what we'll be talking about today, how to set up this part and this part to make you go as fast as you can. Cool. See how the rear one there. Pull out the front so you can see the difference there. Oh yeah, so we've got complimentary JDM gloves and the 2 adjusting spanners there as well. So the first step in putting your coilovers in, you have to wear the gloves. Otherwise it's all going to go horribly wrong. Probably in your hands. Of course the sticker too. Shout out SHOCKWORKS. Alright, so a bit of a similar setup to the front, just slightly different lengths and shock lengths and spring lengths, but same story. It's a 2-piece shock absorber, so you've got the shock body here and your sort of universal perch at the bottom to set your shock length up and down. It does come with adjustable dampening with the knob as well, so you can set that dampening soft or hard for whatever you're doing. Cool, let's get into it. Sweet, so we're getting ready to begin setting up our coilover. What we're going to do, since these don't come set up out of the SHOCKWORKS factory, we need to sort of establish a base point. I'm probably just going to keep it where they've shipped it to us. What I'm going to do is take off the lower collar, take off the spring completely, put the lower collar back on, and then mount the unit in the car like that without the spring. That way we can jack up from the lower control arm and we can visually see the range of motion that the shock absorber is capable of. Then we'll need to either lengthen or shorten the length of the shock via this lower collar here. And then we can see exactly how much compression travel we have available. Basically what we want to do is set as much as possible just before we start smashing our wheel through the fender or smashing the control arms up into each other. There's a lot that can go wrong if you put too much compression travel into it, but it can go pretty bad as well if there's not enough. You'll just get a terrible ride, terrible handling. So pretty much that's what we need to do. Just set it up so it's on the brink of touching anything to get the most out of it. And then the rest will be droop travel, which is also very essential. So on a shock absorber, you've got compression travel and droop travel. So compression travel is how much you can compress the shock, how much it can go up, and droop travel is how much it can come down. So when you put the shock into a car and jack it up completely off the ground, that's going to go to full droop, and that's, you know, when the wheels go way lower than they normally would on the road. That's your droop travel there. So we need a decent ratio of both, but compression travel is definitely much more important, because when you're cornering hard, going down on the side of the car there, and it's just compressing up, and we're quite limited on space in the MX-5s for compression travel as it is, so we need to maximize it. Sweet, so if you like how your car's handling before you put your coilovers in, that might be a good indication that your ride height bias is about right. So measure your ride height front and rear before you install the coilovers, and then you can have a baseline and where you want to set them. I think Benny, being the hectic drifter he is, might have a little bit of the rake going on, a little bit towards oversteer bias maybe, but we'll see if we can talk him down to something a bit quicker. But it is nice to have a little bit of front bias, so you've got that nice turn in, and then you can sort of control the rear with your right foot. But it's all down to personal preference and the track conditions, really. You want to adjust that? Sweet, so what I'm doing now is I'm just measuring the shock length as they sent it to us. So as a baseline here, I'm just going to go from the bottom of the top hat there to the bottom of the lower locking collar, and I can see I'm a bit 285. So I'm going to set that 285. So basically what I'm going to do, take the spring off, set the lower perch back to where it was at 285 length. That'll be a baseline. We can see where we're going from there, and we can work longer or shorter on the shock based on what we need. Keep spinning.
When you pass forward,
You can get really fast with this. And don't drop it. Once that's spun off, keep spinning. You can take off the top hat, but I prefer to keep it at the factory torques.
Do you have a reason that you prefer to keep it at factory torques?
I don't know the correct torque spec for the top hat on these, and I can't really be bothered trying to figure it out, or I don't want to snap off the top here. So it's safer to go by the bottom. But you'd probably be fine just to go by the top. Should have taken a measurement for where the spring is sitting as well, but we can take that off the other side, so it's not a big deal right now. You don't need to put the spring perch back on for this step, you just need to put the roll collar back to where it was. It can be good to put the spring perch back on because you can actually adjust the shock body using it. If you lock those in, you don't have to mess around taking the shock out of the car over and over again. So it's going to be on. Sweet, so we're going to put this assembly in without the spring. We're going to just loosely put it in. You don't need to torque everything down, but we just need it in the car so we can jack up on the lower control arm and just see where the wheel's going to land at this shock length, and then we can adjust from there. I'll show you how to do that. So you can do this on your floor with just the floor jack if you need. We're just going to use a big long piece of wood so we can get up here and see as much as we can. But basically what we're going to do now is just start jacking it up and see what hits what pretty much. Yeah, let's go for it. So we're still free there, but I think it's going to hit the guard liner as we go up further. That's off the car now?
About to come off the hoist. I think that's...
Yep, sweet. So we've come off the hoist a little bit, and we still have room here. So we potentially have a little bit more compression travel in it. I don't think any of the control arms are hitting anything at the moment. If we get our hand up there, we're pretty close.
Pretty close up there.
So that's probably actually about right for this one. So now we can't go any more up. We can't gain any more compression travel because we're going to start hitting things on the body. So that's pretty much our limit for this car. If we wanted to get some more, we could probably take out the fender liners. But for this case, I think if we leave it there, that's about right. Sweet, so we've just got the rears in, pretty much the same method as the front. So we've just taken the springs off and put the shock in the car. We jacked it up and pretty much out of the box from SHOCKWORKS, it was spot on. I think there's a little bit more room in the top of the wheel well, but if we go much more, we might start scraping stuff on the bottom of the car, which is not ideal. So that's pretty good. From here, we're probably just going to whip it all back out, put the springs on. I think we'll set the springs where they came from SHOCKWORKS as well. Maybe they seem to know what they're doing. And then we can just adjust the ride height from there using the spring perch. But hopefully it doesn't need too much adjustment, but we'll see how it goes. So when we're all done and we're setting the ride height, we need to think about how we want the car to handle. As a baseline, I like to start the front at about 300 to 310 mil. That's measuring from the center of the wheel with the car on the ground to this point here. And then with the rear, we can adjust the handling to how we like. On my personal car, I run 10 mil higher in the rear. So I think I have mine at 305 in the front and 315 in the rear, that 10 mil rake, like that. If you want to adjust the handling to get more oversteer bias, you want more difference between the front and the rear ride heights. And if you want to bring the car to a more neutral, maybe towards understeer bias, just bring the rear of the car down. So maybe you'll have 305 in the front, 305 in the rear, and that's how you can adjust the handling balance of the car with the ride height.
So we had the Autocross yesterday, and the previous Autocross I think we finished around 6th or 7th overall out of about 40 something cars. Yesterday we've managed to grab 3rd position, beating a few turbo cars and WRXs and things like that. So that was a good achievement, and the car's handling really sort of helped a lot. So thanks to Ayven who helped me set up the car, the new SHOCKWORKS shocks, and also stole his a cheeky wheel alignment off him that made his car really fast. So definitely feels good, and pretty happy with what the car was able to do yesterday, especially in the morning when it was really wet and still sort of semi-raining. So yeah, happy as, and hopefully with a few more things down the pipe works, we can improve on that. I think we were six and a bit seconds off the lead car yesterday. I don't think we're going to be getting first, but if we can improve and keep it consistent, beating a couple of the other regulars, then we'll be quite happy with that. So stay tuned, and hopefully we've got more bits and pieces to go into the coupe to help it handle and drive a bit faster. So if you are keen to make your car go a bit faster, feel free to give us a yell, or give Ayven a yell on our Facebook page, or give him a call on the old landline, and he can help you with a couple of tips and tricks that will hopefully help your car handle a bit better. And if there's anything we can sort of help in terms of parts or supplies, or even if you would like more information about the parts that we're using, feel free to give us a call, and we can definitely sell you some go fast bits that's not a turbo or a supercharger. So yeah.